You're tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. Jeannie Roll is my co-host. With me on this, we talk about healthcare issues, things that have happened to people that we know that have happened to us, the people that call in and we interview, and things that have happened with that. And I guess at the end of the day, Jeannie, is what really the focus of it is how do we get better healthcare? Because we say that it used to be better in a lot of ways it was, and now I don't know what is going on with some of this stuff. And today, the focus that I brought in is I want to talk about some of these mental health issues for people. And I feel sorry for people because I don't know what the answer is. We try to figure it out, you and I, and try to give some avenues, but we're caught in this net too. So are the doctors, so are the medical people that are in the industry. And the mental health issues, and to try to get a significant, a decent, thorough mental health is almost impossible in some ways, and it's gotten to the point where it's also seemingly, my opinion, some of this is drive-through. The state hospitals in so many states have gone away. A lot of people have likened it back to Ronald Reagan when he was president and he shut off, I think I'm saying the right thing, the subsidies through the federal government to the states to keep these mental health places alive. Another thing is I read so many stories that some of it was cruel and unusual punishment. I think, if you go back to stories, some of that is absolutely valid, but a lot of it isn't. A lot of these mental health hospitals have stigmas, if you will. I know there were a bunch in New York, certainly, that you can call out that would have stigma. But at the end of the day, the care was pretty decent. It was pretty significant. And nowadays, too, there are different avenues. So there's psychotherapy, there's drugs, there's different things that people try, doctors try, where they didn't exist in years past. But my goodness, with these shootings, and that's what I'm likening it to, this is all my opinion, it's not the gun. Technically it's the guns that are killing people with this whole, take the guns away from everybody. But let's back it up with the mental health issues and go to each one of these cases and pinpoint why the person was actually motivated, in a destructive way to do this. And what can we do to stop it? What can we do to address it? It isn't necessarily the guns. Jeannie, you and I, before we went on the air, were talking about the instance that I'm sure I'm going to get the city wrong, but the person got in a vehicle and went into a parade and just started driving, people driving over people. So that wasn't a gun. There's other instances that if you want to wreak serious harm on somebody, you can do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a gun. So that whole thing needs to have a different conversation here. And I want to talk about what actually is available for mental health care. I looked at Florida's, and a lot of them, you have to have insurance. There's not a lot of walk-in clinics or certainly state hospitals and blah, 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 blah. There's non-existent, really. And what do people do? And the few ones that will take anyone, you're a cog in the wheel, just like we talk about every day in the traditional care. Jeannie, thoughts?
Well, yeah, I know a lot of people go to their family doctor and they get these mental health prescriptions, and I truly don't believe that mental health should be handled by a family practitioner. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they are qualified enough. The drugs, they have a lot of very bad side effects. If you listen to them on TV, you'll hear them say it may increase your suicidal ideas, or it may lead to deep depression or even violence. So the mental health drugs, they have to really be administered by someone who really knows what they're doing, and that can't just be a once a year I'll see you kind of thing. It has to be, to me, something probably weekly for a long time until you're sure that those drugs are stabilized. Because I know of many stories of people who say that the mental health drugs made them do things that they wouldn't normally do. They left them feeling angry, depressed, even some of them say violent. So these are individuals that I have talked to. So, and the other thing is, yes, you have to have insurance. And while you can get insurance if you don't have any money, the insurance, they usually have limits on the amount of time that you can spend. And a lot of those facilities are full. So when you go to get help, they can't take you.
Mm-hmm. Well, right.
So that leaves a lot of people just walking around on the streets. You see them everywhere. I saw one yesterday, and it was scary because you don't really know what is going to happen or could happen if somebody, offends that person in some way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is scary.
It is, and I don't know how it's going to be addressed. I mean, I kind of keyed on this as the topic for this podcast because of that horrific shooting up in Maine, because I lived in the area and I know how easy it is to live there and how safe, if you will, that it was when I was there. And it's just, that particular story has so many warning signs and so many, they're throwing around red flag, yellow flag, whatever have you, but so many flags that should have been addressed. And if you go and analyze and investigate many of these other shootings, that is also true, that there was bullying, there was, why did this happen? Why wasn't the guns taken away? This one, I think the brother in this instance said, we knew that something was going to happen, and we did get help, tried to get help. And it's just like all of these things. Are you afraid to tell the person that, no, we don't feel that you should be, alone, that you need help? I don't know what the stumbling block of it is. I really don't, because they're saying there's so many laws are in place, but the laws weren't pressed to the issue like they should have been. And that's over and over again. Well, it's not this one. It's over and over again. Go back to Columbine. Go back to Uvalde. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, is this all a learning curve? How many people have to die for it to learning curve to flatten out here?
Well, it's very hard for someone to get someone else's mental health. You can't really do it. That was the problem way back when, was people were being put in institutions. Like if a husband wanted to divorce a wife, rather than divorce, they would just put him away in an institution.
Absolutely.
So it is very, very difficult to force someone into getting help. And if your family member is violent, then that violence comes back to the family too. So they're also scared. They know that there's no help out there for them. They turn to the police. The police will come and say, well, what do you want us to do? We can't really do anything.
But there is Baker Act. There is Baker Act in every state, and then a doctor would have to sign off on it.
Right. But you have to go to court and all that. And
well, police can Baker Act you, and so can doctors can Baker Act you. I think I'm saying the right thing. I mean, that's an instantaneous
72 hours.
Right, but still, you have to be evaluated too. I mean, I think that's what the front runner is nowadays for the old days of what you're saying. Just put them away and that's it. We don't want to be bothered with them. Let's sign over. Those stories certainly are valid of what you're talking about. It's just, we have like a minute left. It's so sad that here people are talking again. There were 31 people that were shot, 18 that are killed. I mean, 31 people. My God, that's just unbelievable. All of it is unbelievable. Well, one person shot is too many people, but it's not necessarily the gun. My opinion, it's the mental health. It's the lack of the severe, helpful mental health care. It is. And forget the stigma. Right. We're chipping away at that, but wow, I mean, we need to start addressing this in serious. And it's not, you're pointing fingers and whatever. Let's fix this. It's just absolutely insane and crazy and whatever. It is. Let's talk about it and fix it. On that note, stay tuned to Evergreen Media Network.